Okay, I'm back, and I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. I can't draw a stick figure. I can barely draw a stick figure. Well, let's solve that right now. Take out your pencils. Draw a line. Then draw a circle. And we're going to draw a line right here and a line right here. And the reason why I had you do them separate instead of just going across is that this is representing an arm, obviously, and this is representing the other arm. And then we're going to do the good old one leg, two leg. Congratulations, you've drawn a stick figure. And hopefully, you guys don't have a problem with that. And it looks childish, and it's supposed to look childish. Let's even give him a big smiley face. With the stick figure, when you're a kid and you're drawing, you can take the stick figure and you can do anything you want to do with the stick figure pretty much. Because chances are you had a teacher who was not an artist who stood in front of you and said, this is how you draw. Because everyone can pretty much draw a circle with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines to it. Well, let's make the stick figure wave. And there's a point to all this. So we have the head, we have the body. The legs are going to stay the same, and we're going to put one hand up. Now let's put the other one down. Now your stick figure is waving. And if you want, you can just kind of do this to show that it's hands. Just as simple as that. And let's give him some shoes. Because what's a stick figure without shoes? And another smiley face. And let's say that the stick figure is so happy. Let's call him Doug. Doug is so happy that he wants to jump. So if he's jumping, his hands are up. Again, I'm not worried about proportion. He's smiling and his legs are up. And some of you are wondering, is Doug a cheerleader or something? That's some height there to throw his legs all the way up. Doug at some point probably needs to bend his legs. Shouldn't his legs be? Well, I'm glad that we're all so observant, but we're just going to play with the stick figure a little bit more. Let's say that Doug is angry now. Angry Doug. Doug is so angry that he wants to kick someone. Now Doug is kicking. Doesn't really look like has much of an impact on it, but maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe he's kicking another stick figure. Maybe he's going to kick this guy right here, his other version of Doug, the evil twin, Bob, or Bartholomew. Anyway, and let's say Doug also wants to run. Well, how do we make Doug run? Maybe like that. Doesn't really look like he's running. So right now we see the limitations of the stick figure, but I still want you to draw along with me, because right now you should be saying, well, okay, I know that we have to bend the stick figure, so why don't we just bend the stick figure? So let's do that. Let's show you a way that we can take the stick figure, and again, I don't want you to worry about proportion right now, because there are a few things that I'll tell you to keep in mind, but we're not going to stress proportion right now. Right now, I just want to express movement. So let's just start with what we already have. We've got a circle and we got a line. That's going to stay the same. And believe it or not, we are going to draw a cross. How far across do you want to draw? These are no longer the arms. This is going to represent the collarbone. Okay? So if this is representing the collarbone, how long do you want this to be? I don't want you to worry about the length of this line right here, because this is representing the torso. And this, let's say that if you divided this line in half, this little measurement right here, this little half measurement, maybe if you put the other half over there, let's say that that's about as wide as you want it. So let's do a close-up of this. So if we put a box around our oval, and if we try to measure to make sure that it's that way, we got the neck here. That's about the side of one side of your collarbone. And so that should be it. So we're going to go with, again, we got a box, and you can do it backwards. By the way, I want you guys thinking like artists right away. And I'm going to clean this up a little bit. That doesn't work. So if we divide this little box in half right here, and this measurement, if we make another one of these smaller rectangles, then that should be about the size of what you want to put across. It should be about that size. Because later on, when I show you guys how to add the neck and put in the clavicle, that is the direction that is going. But right now, I don't want you to worry about that. If you're so inclined, then go right ahead and just keep in mind that that's just a little bit more another half onto that. Now, instead of us doing this for the legs, well, that'd be kind of silly. So how about we just put another line across? Now, I know I said that I don't want you worried about proportion, but here's something that I do want you to keep in mind right away. You see this nice little V shape right here? That is more or less going to represent male. And if you're going to draw a woman character, the V shape is going to be upside down because the hips on women are going to be wider than their chest. So this isn't so important right now, but this is another thing that I want to have you keep in mind. I am going to go over this in depth, so don't worry. But for right now, if you're wondering how long we want to make this area right here, which is going to represent the pelvis, then I want you to just slightly make it go slightly in for a man right now. And when we start doing a few female figures, you're going to have it go just a little bit wider for female. So now let's clean this up a little bit. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're obviously going to attach some arms here. So let's make up a rule for our stick figure. Whenever we have anything that will bend or have movement to it, we're going to show it by just this nice little circle right here. So far you've drawn a stick figure, but we're going to put some joints on the end of it there. So I want you to take this and let's draw an arm. Now, the stick figure is going to have a bit more mobility here, and maybe about halfway down here, I want you to put another joint. Okay? And let's look at the pelvis area. So let's go down a little bit. How far down? Let's go with, maybe you should, for right now, let's have it match this area in here, or maybe just a little bit smaller. We're going to put another joint on the end of there. And the bottom of the leg right here, let's try to make it equal to the top part. Okay? Let's try to make this equal to the top part if we can. If you can't, don't worry about it. And then we're going to put some feet on the end. We're going to represent our feet by triangles. Some kind of triangle. Right now, we're just going to use triangles. All right? And so let's get to the bottom of the stick or the bottom of the arm. How far down do I bring the arm? Well, right in between, about mid-thigh. Stop. Stop right about mid-thigh. And for the hands, let me see. Let's go with another kind of triangle-y shape. I'm not concerned about how you shape your triangles. I just put a triangle. These are all just representations of the stick figure. These are all just representations of the human body. That's all a stick figure is. And so you now have a stick figure that now has a lot of mobility. So we can do a lot with this. And you notice I just brought this across. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I have another line right here. We're going to put the joints on the end because we want our figure to be able to bend. We want our figure to be able to sit down. And if you notice, I didn't do a lot of 8 heads high kind of thing. I'm not into doing. I will show you a way to do that that makes it a lot easier than always having to create this area right here and then divide it up into 8 times. There's a bunch of different ways to do that, and we'll get into that later. And so I know it's kind of coming right about here. This might be a little bit off, but that's okay, because right now we're not worried about that. So you've now drawn a stick figure, and the stick figure looks pretty male. Let's do this again from the front view. We're going to add the shoulders on. This time, I'm going to make the pelvis area wider. Still bringing the legs down. I'm going to draw the feet. Now I'm over-exaggerating the wideness of the hips to show that this character is feminine. Here's another thing that I know that is taught very often in a lot of artistic books. We got this right here. It's supposed to be the line of beauty, and a lot of people draw feminine figures like this, and they always have their hands on their hips, and maybe they're, I don't know, looking in a mirror or something. It's always a common pose. This is fine, but chances are when you start trying to draw like this, you're always going to fall back on this. So we're going to, as much as possible, stay away from that. Instead, we can if you look over here, so I can always refine this line right here, right? So I'm just showing you that you still can have a feminine looking figure without having to rely on that pose. And she is standing kind of a manlier pose. And later on, I'll show you how to kind of drop the collarbone to make her look a little bit more, maybe she's a soldier type of character, and you can get her a gun or something to that effect. But I just want to show you that you're going to have to draw feminine characters that you can't rely on. What if she's running? What if she's sitting down? What if she's doing some things? So now you have learned how to draw the stick figure. Let's get a little side view and a back view, just for reference purposes, because there's a lot that it's still, this stick figure is great, but it has a lot of limitations on it. And what I want to do is slowly get you to the point where you understand everything. So hopefully you will understand that. I will have a packet, or in the PDF files, you will have a PDF that just has you just drawing stick figures. And I'm also going to do the stick figure pose video so that you can get a little bit of practice in with me, and you can do some practice on your own. And I don't know why I'm drawing these arrows, but I am. So let's go ahead and draw. Let's draw like a side version of this, of our stick figure. So, well, we know that we have the oval for the head. That's kind of the same. Let's see, should we put the neck right here? Well, let's change that a little bit. Let's put the neck right here. And so instead of it being in the middle, it's towards the back. And if you attach it directly to the back, that's fine too. And we're going to draw the torso. And maybe since it's the side view, let's draw a smaller line to show that it's the side view. Down here. Top of the leg, bottom of the leg. Now, in order to make him go to the side, let's put that triangle out. And right here, we're going to have the shoulder, because that's what it's representing. It's representing the shoulder. And so that we have it, let's kind of put the arm out a little bit just to show you. As a matter of fact, let me do this. So I thickened up this line here for you. And so if we're at the side view, what we're doing is we have the hand going out. And so that would be a side view. And depending on what's going on, we might, depending on what the other hand is doing, we have the other hand that's in the back. And on the other side of this directly will be the other leg. And we're going to have the bottom of the leg, and we're going to have the foot. So that's a side view of our stick figure. So let's see how many things that we can do this. We are still working with some limitations here. And sometimes this may look a little confusing to you. But we're going to see what we can do with just these limitations alone in the next video, in which we are going to pose these figures right away. I think it's so important to learn how to do jumping poses, sitting. You'll see the amount of drawing that we're going to do. And after that, I'm going to give you a different version of the stick figure where things are going to become a little bit more clear. But right now, I want to work with constraints. And so here we go.